Good evening. I would like to call to order the City of Sebastian Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of Thursday, March 18th, 6 o'clock p.m. in the council chambers, Sebastian, Florida. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under liberty and justice for all. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yeah, Mr.
Yes.
Alvarez, please come.
Mr. Roth, before we start that, can someone tell me which, if either, of the alternates will be voting this evening?
Both Mr. Cristino and Ms. Kaltenberg will be voting for absent members of the commission.
Okay,
Okay.
it's a little reversed.
Thank
So,
you.
Mr. Carter, Mr. Reyes, and Mr. Hugan are excused this evening.
Yes, I understand that. Can I call roll now?
Please, call a roll.
Mr. Roth,
Present?
Mr. Simmons,
Present.
Ms. Cottenberg,
Here.
Mr. Cristino,
Present.
Mr. Kizelbosch,
Here.
and Mr. Alvarez.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then we'll proceed to make sure we have it in the right order, that Mr. Carter and Mr. Reyes and Mr. Hugan are excused this evening. Mr. Cristino will be voting, and Mrs. Kaltenberg will be voting in their absence. Next order of business for this evening will be, are there any agenda modifications that any of the commissioners have or plan staff has? If there are none, we'll proceed with the agenda as published. No other announcements. Commissioners, you've had a chance to review the minutes of the prior meeting, which seems like it was a long time ago. It's on February 4th. Are there any corrections, amendments? If not, we're
Mr. Chairman, I
prepared for
move that
motion.
we accept the minutes of the planning and zoning for February the 4th.
Okay. Mr. Simmons made a motion for approval of the minutes as submitted. Second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Cristino. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Silent. So they are approved as submitted. And again, a good job to our technical writer, Mrs. Graham. Thank you. On our agenda this evening was a quasi-judicial public hearing. And that was for the site plan at the airport. And as it stands now, that has been withdrawn from this meeting and has been, as I understand it, rescheduled for April 1st. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, yes. Staff was waiting for drawings and public notices to go out. We weren't able to get everything in time in order to give our neighbors to the north adequate chance to be notified for this very large site plan. We decided that it would be in everyone's best interest to table it to the first, but it does require the commission to formally table it.
Okay. Well, My hat's off on the action to table it because I understand drawings are important and it is a big project for the whole group of citizens of Sebastian to be able to look at it and understand. Can you suggest how we would make that motion?
Yes,
Attorney?
Mr. Chair. Well, first of all, I was going to make a point of clarification. What council needs, what the committee, at this point, council plans needs to do is, because of the limitations we have per the statutes, you're going to have to open the meeting, like if you're going to have it, and then there should be a motion from someone to, my suggestion would be to continue it, and I believe the date is April 1st, correct?
Correct.
Hopefully that will be seconded and it will be carried, and then you can, at that point in time, you can gavel the meeting closed until April 1st. And then on April 1st, when it rolls around, then you just reopen that meeting as if, it's just continuation.
Okay, good suggestion. So we would open it and then ask for a continuance.
Roger that. So you're going to be opening the meeting, and then you're going to ask for a motion to to continue it to, someone to have a motion to continue it till April 1st, giving enough time for the proper notice. And at that point in time, hope it'll be seconded and votes carries, and at that point in time, you'll just temporarily close the meeting until April 1st. And April 1st, you'll just reopen the meeting at that point in time.
And be on the safe side, we should read in the actual motion
That's
for
fine.
the
That's it as well.
hearing.
You could do it as well. I have no problem reading if you want.
Okay. Then with that point, to make sure that we have everything clear and in order, I will call for a reading of the public hearing. We will need to, ask the commissioners if they have any ex parte communications on that project. Are there any?
No.
No. We will also, since it could become a technical issue, we'll ask the city attorney to swear in any of those that are here that wish to speak on that project to be sworn in.
Again, for the record, there'll be no witnesses here today. What I'm asking the council now to consider is a motion, since the hearing was open, have a motion by one of the committee members to continue this hearing until April 1st.
Okay, thank you. And since we do not have many of the drawings, we're going to suspend all of that, continue it to the next meeting. For the record, we should read in the address and what the project is.
For the record, it's the request is for a site plan approval of the City of Sebastian Public Works compound located at 505 Airport Drive West. It's proposed construction of a new 36,428 square foot vehicle maintenance facility with associated offices, fuel canopy, along with parking, utilities, stormwater, and landscaping. It's also located in the IN Industrial Zoning District.
Okay, thank you. And since we are aware that there is a request for continuance, we, I believe, are in order for a motion to continue that meeting, or that project until April 1st. Would someone make a motion to that effect, please?
So moved.
Mrs. Kaltenberg made a motion to continue. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Crisino seconded it. We should have a roll call on that.
Yeah, but just point of clarification, make
Yes.
sure that we're continuing to April 1st.
Correct.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll call the roll now.
Please.
Mr. Kizilbosh,
Yes.
Mr. Roth,
Yes?
Mr. Simmons,
Yes,
Ms. Cottenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Cristino,
Yes.
and Mr. Alvarez.
Yes.
It's in favor unanimously.
Thank you. So the motion and project for the quasi-public hearing, 505 Airport Drive West, will be continued through, to April 1st, 2021. Thank you. That concludes the quasi-judicial public hearing. We also have a public hearing on a land development code. And rather than me take my novice explanation for that, I'll ask our city planner, Robert Loring, to do that for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in July of 2020, there was a newly created Florida statute, which is Section 509.102, which became effective, in which the state ordained the following. One, the establishment of a definition for the term mobile food dispensing vehicle or mobile food truck. Two, regulation of the mobile food dispensary vehicles with regards to licenses, registrations, permits, fees, which is preempted to the state. And three, a local government entity may not require separate licenses, registrations, permits, fees, or other than the state requires. Four, local government entity may not prohibit mobile food dispensary vehicles from operating within their jurisdiction. Five, local governments have the authority to regulate the dispensary vehicles for other than what the state regulates. Currently, City of Sebastian's Land Development Code prohibit mobile food trucks and similar uses, but based on the new statute, mobile food trucks can now operate within the city limits without any guidelines existing in the code. Ordinance 02103 will initialize regulations for the mobile food establishments. Since this use is not a permanent or fixed-based operation, the requirement of a conditional use permit, site plan, or even a business tax receipt will be in non-compliance with state regulation. Staff has placed these new requirements within our temporary use chapter, where many of our existing regulations for transient merchants are now located. Staff has provided updates to the temporary use permit section in the same LDC chapter. First reading of the ordinance has been tentatively scheduled by City Council on April 14th. And I'd also like to add a little background information. The statute was born out of a landmark case here in the state, right down the street in the city of Fort Pierce. That case was Diaz and Pfeffer versus the city of Fort Pierce, Florida. That case basically was the impetus for the food truck regulation. In a nutshell, there were a number of food truck operators within the city limits that could not operate because of all the restrictive codes and protocols that the city had put in place. Now, that being said, we don't have a whole lot of food trucks clamoring at the door to get in here, but we wanted to at least have some initial language that we could build from. And so what you have in front of you is that language. That being said, there is one point of contention that I'd like to make is within that ordinance on page 4, you will see a number 8, which talks about a 500-foot limitation between food truck establishments and brick and mortar restaurants being located. After further review of that and talking with our city attorney, we feel that that is restrictive, and we'd like to pull that from this proposal that you have in front of you.
Could you repeat again what page and what section
It's page
that was?
4, number 8, and I'll read it just for the record. Operating within 500 feet of an established restaurant or food service business, unless the mobile food establishment has written permission from the restaurant owner and/or operator. If you looked at the Fort Pierce case, that was the impetus behind the food truck statute being put in place. So we're looking at just scratching that out altogether before we bring it to City Council.
Now, this would not be a freestanding, this would be something that would be in conjunction with a restaurant?
No, let me make the distinction.
Just the opposite.
This is a mobile food truck dispensing vehicle.
Okay.
Or a mobile food truck. Currently, we have no regulations on these whatsoever.
So you want to bring that the 500 feet?
We want to scratch that completely
Oh.
from the proposal.
Just a point of clarification, if I can. Recognize?
Okay.
I've got a question.
Well, I have a point of clarification then before we
Okay.
even, can I address this?
Sure.
Before we even begin, I should by statute read the ordinance so we can have it on the record. And then we can go into our discussions.
That's good. We
Okay.
do have, and this is amending.
All right,
Correct.
so statute ordinance 021-03, an ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, amending Land Development Code, Section 54-5-22.2, definitions of terms, by creating a definition for mobile food establishments, amending Land Development Code, Section 54-2-3.2, and 3.3 and 3.4 relating to the procedures and criteria for review of temporary usage and initiating Land Development Code, Section 54-2-3.6, which instates procedures and criteria for mobile food establishments, providing for severability and repeal of law in conflict, providing for codification, providing for scrivener's error, and providing for an effective date. And if I can address the board as well, another issue. What Robert was, what Mr. Lauren was talking about earlier is that what staff is recommending is the entire ordinance to be approved except for, on
The
page 4,
number 8.
section 54-2-3.6, C as in Charlie 8. That section that he read, talking about within 500 feet, we're asking the whole thing be approved, but that section 8 be stricken. That's the recommendation of staff.
Well, that makes sense. Do any of the commissioners have any questions? Mrs. Kautenberg?
No, I don't have any questions. I understand this fully. I'm personally not in favor of some of it, but I understand why it needs to be that way. And, you know, times change, so it's better to be proactive than to try to play catch-up. So, I don't
Always a
have-
good point. Mr. Cristino?
Yeah, I've got a question concerning like the Restaurant Row on Indian River Drive. You eliminate the 500 feet. There's not a lot of public parking. I mean, most of that parking belongs to the restaurants. So they'd have to grant permission. Because I can't see those restaurants wanting the food truck where I'd see Paradoya or Mash Monkeys desiring to have a couple of trucks in there. Mash Monkeys doesn't serve food. In there, I'm open to the idea, of allowing it. I think Taco Mobile was a food truck at one time in the city.
With regard to the mobile food trucks, if you look further in the code, we want to draw the distinction between mobile food vending and mobile food trucks operating at an event. And I think if you look through the ordinance carefully, we've distinguished, there's a very distinct difference between the two. Mobile food trucks operating in and around Indian River Drive, I really can't think of a location where they would really be effective or where they could operate, because most of those parking lots are restaurants that I can think of. I can't, Lisa, do you know of any other?
In case of Hiram's, the condos across the street have their own parking lot. They can opt to park a truck selling hamburgers, and the owner of Hiram's might not be too pleased.
Well, I think the point is that if you have the permission, in order to locate on a private property, you need to have permission of the property owner.
Right.
So that is going to limit them. And then, of course, in the code, as you read further, as Mr. Loring has pointed out, that they will not be allowed in public right-of-ways or in public parking lots or anything like that unless they're part of a special event, you know, if it's in our public parking lots.
No, I'm all for it, I
Our
mean.
special events. But, so there is a good distinction, but again, as Ms. Cottenberg had rightly pointed out, this is preempted by the state. You know, our hands are tied. It's happening more and more. And so we needed to be very clear as to our allowance of this type of vending. And
Well, I think it could be a positive
I think
investment.
staff has done a really great job, so thank you so much for considering this.
That answer your question?
I believe so, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Alvarez?
No, I have no questions other than, no, I'm okay.
I'm okay for this thing, but I have other question. Can I-
Okay,
On the same page 4, under operating requirement, item number 6, why we allow them for seating and table on the second sentence? Why we allow that thing? It's a mobile food vendor.
So most of these mobile food trucks, when we drafted this ordinance, we recognized that we wanted to be clear in that we wanted to keep our ingress and egress areas open. And we also wanted to allow for, provided that they had ample parking, some ability for somebody to sit down and enjoy their hot dog or hamburger or whatever it is. So that's, number 6 specifically states, mobile food establishments now shall not require more than 10% of existing parking spaces.
Yeah, 10% fine, but second sentence, when you say 10 by 10 area for table and chair sitting there. So that is, if you give them little opportunity, they're gonna have 10 by 10, they're gonna have more.
Yeah.
Plus, they're gonna stay longer hours. If you give them a seating opportunity, they stay longer hour for operation. It's a mobile vendor, it has to be stay for short period and move.
If I
a good
may,
point.
Yeah,
I believe most of them will put up a pop-up enclosure.
yeah,
And the typical size of those enclosures is 10 by 10.
yeah.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with the size requirement or not, but typically you
approximately-
can't get
My
any
concern is
smaller.
table and chair, that's my main concern there.
Yeah, well, if I'm gonna visit one of those, it's nice to have a seat and not.
And
get
it's
on
my
the seat of
opinion,
my
I mean,
car, which is
otherwise,
where
okay.
it ends up.
Okay.
well, 10 by 10 would fit within a parking spot also.
It's,
Not quite?
well, typically our,
Quite 10 feet wide.
they're 9 by 20 typically.
Oh, the newer ones, the older ones,
Or
and
10
I
by
like the
20.
older ones much better. I have more room to drive in and out, but,
As the cars get bigger, the parking spaces get smaller, that goes figure. The cars get bigger, the parking spaces get smaller, go figure. That's, you got it on the
yeah,
record.
that's true. But it should technically work if they, follow the guidelines and park their mobile on the far side of the line and leave more on the near side and set their tent up on the other, on the
Yeah, I
proper
don't
side. It
have a
should
problem
work,
with it. I
but
think that-
Anyway,
If the establishment's requested their presence, they'll manage the location, so it's conducive to other traffic moving through the location and the parking spots, obviously.
yep. Mr. Klisbosh, any other?
Yeah, one other thing is there is, I mean, they don't require a permit from the city, but if they use a city park or someplace, they still have to get a permission for that.
A city park would be a special event.
Yeah.
Which is completely different from
Okay.
this language.
All right.
And to follow up on that, then if it is a city event, then they need to get a permit to participate at that event.
That's correct. And
So
those
it's-
rules would be entirely
Right.
different from this language.
Yep. Anything else? Mr. Simmons?
I thought I did, but I don't. It's been answered, thanks.
Okay. I still, and I know, Mr. Lord, you and I talked before, and I'm still just a little bit fuzzy about the differentiation between someone driving up and not affiliated and someone at an event. Is there any other connection to like electricity or water that would enter into helping define that better or not?
Typically, these food trucks are self-contained. They have their own, it's basically a commercial kitchen on wheels, for lack of a better term.
So that wouldn't work, okay.
If they were at a special event, I suppose it's possible that they could have some kind of electrical hookup for something, but typically these vehicles are self-contained units. They're autonomous.
Okay. Commissioners have any other questions?
I've just got a quick one for Mr. Loring on that. We have a craft fair at the beginning of every month over there at Riverview Park. So would a vendor be able to go every month, or would they be restricted by the special events clause that we have of only 6 events per year?
So in the case of the craft fair, they would fall under a special event, and they would
So
be
they
subject
could
to
go every
those
month
rules.
and just show up and, okay, very good. Thank you.
I just have a couple of other things. Point of clarification, there's a lot of what I call red ink here, which is all the new, and I appreciate it being done that way so we could find it easily. These were primarily taken from accepted standards either by the state or other towns, municipalities.
So staff's spent a great deal of time looking at other municipalities and see how they were handling this particular issue. And so what you have is an amalgam of many municipalities, and this is sort of our first kind of gloss over to try to enact some kind of language that we can build from.
Okay. I understand about the state and what I kind of call overreach with kind of trying to help us govern things when we know better. This does comply with state then? Anything?
With the removal of number 8, I believe that the language that we have will stand.
Okay.
Yes, this would comply with state law. It's been vetted by almost everyone, with me, the entire staff, from Lisa to Dory to city manager. Everyone has taken a stab at this ordinance at length.
So we're in good order then if we forward this on to the commission with our approval accepting number 8 on page 4.
Yes, I will recommend this to the commission.
Okay. Any further questions, or is someone, commissioner, prepared to make a motion?
All right, Mr. Chairman. I move that we approve the recommendation and forward it to City Council for the change to the Land Development Code Amendment, Ordinance 0-21-03, mobile food establishments and temporary uses.
I'll second the motion.
We just exclude,
Can we continue further?
Excluding the 500-foot.
yeah,
Okay, now we
Okay,
have a
change.
motion on the floor to send to city council the amendment and without point number 8 on page 4. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Simmons, second. Okay. Any further deliberation, staff, or anything? We're prepared for a vote then. Could you please read the roll?
Mr., one more point of order. There's no one here from the public, but maybe public might want to be involved. I don't think there's anyone on, but just for the record, just to clarify it.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. We're Zooming, aren't we? Zooming right along. Is there anyone from the public on Zoom, whether to speak in favor or opposed to the public hearing?
Not opposed.
Okay, thank you. Then we're in order to have roll call. Janet, please.
Yes. Mr. Kizelbosch,
yes,
Ms. Cottenberg,
Yes,
Mr. Roth,
Yes?
Mr. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Cristino,
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes.
The vote is 6-0 in favor, so the motion passes.
Very good. Thank you, Janet. Appreciate your help. So this will go to city council. Do we have any idea when that will be?
That will be on April 14th.
It will be, okay. That's the next meeting. Very good. Then that concludes that portion of our meeting. Is there any other unfinished business? It's noted here as none, but just wanted to double check. None, we'll move right along then. Public input from any members. I don't see anyone here, but we'll ask again, is there anyone on Zoom that has public input to any matters other than what was on the agenda?
There is no one.
There is no one, okay. Then that concludes the public input portion of our meeting. Any new business from the staff or attorneys? Silence. We have none. Commissioners' matters. And we need to keep that to items on the agenda or matters that pertain to current matters we're talking about. Any commissioners' matters on that?
I have just a quick question for staff. When can we anticipate getting the plans for the city garage? We're going to have them within a week of the April 1st meeting?
So we're going to finish up the plans this week. You should be getting them probably mid to late next week. So you'll have about a week to gloss over them. I will forewarn everybody, they are, it is a massive undertaking. They read like phone books. So by all means, if you have questions, please feel free to call.
It's a fairly large building, and I'm sure it's a lot of wide open space. We'll take a look at the offices, facilities, and I guess.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. We will strive, because it is a large site plan and it's a very important project to the city. We will strive to get you those plans as soon as possible next week so you can have an extended period of time to review and call Robert and find out what's going on.
That's actually my concern. I think that you're under the gun, and perhaps we're better off to delay this meeting past April 1st.
I think you'll have enough time.
You think so?
Yes, and they need to get moving, so.
All right, 'cause, I know we've got drainage.
So thank
and-
you for your consideration. But
Okay.
we'll get you those plans as soon as we can next week.
Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
Good. Any other commissioners' matters? Are we going to get a hard hat for inspecting that property when that comes up? Just a little aside there, I'm sorry, I had to bring it up. City attorneys' matters?
Nothing for the board.
Okay, thank you. Staff matters for this evening's meeting?
I have nothing.
None? That leads me to nothing further than to say this meeting's adjourned.
Thank
Good
you all.
night, Janet, thanks. This meeting went like
You're
the
welcome.
council.